guys, welcome to another recap of Project Runway. It is the teams edition this season. So this week, the judges are going to decide who's on what team. So on the first team, which is Team Shades of Grey, they pair Michelle, Patricia, Daniel, and Stanley. And then on the second team, Team Slick and Hip, they pair Richard, Leanna, Samantha, and Amanda. This is Heidi's favorite challenge, but she won't tell you why. It's just her favorite. So she says, have some fun, designers. So they go on a field trip and they end up at a super sexy strip-a-man show. And everyone is thrilled. And by everyone, I mean everyone. So it's the Thunder from Down Under. They're Aussies and they are awesome. They need a new costume for their opening routine. And it's got to be tearaway, kids. They got to get that off fast. So the costumes, they're going to be 3 on each team, and it has to have cohesion between the team, within the team. $750. Not too shabby, but one day? Say what? That's not enough time. I'm sorry. Especially since nobody is experienced in doing menswear. So Richard on his team, he's wanting this to be like a Liberace strip show. He's got some really outlandish ideas and nobody is backing him. They're all like, no, we want this to be Class A. Michelle, she wants to be edgy as well, but her team is a little bit more accepting of letting her do what she wants. They'll just say, oh, that's what she wanted to do. So send her home. But what she wants to do does not match up with the rest of what's on the team, so it's not very cohesive now, is it? So Team Slick and Hip, they divvy up the work. They want this really classy Armani aesthetic, and Richard is in pieces. He's a wreck. He Skypes his friend from home. He should have been doing his work. He has a breakdown during the Skype session, so I feel bad for him. Tim Gunn shows up to do the check-in. And it's ladies wear horrors. They make that in a women's suit too, you know. Oh wait, that is the women's suit. They're not working well together as a team either. Now Team Shades of Grey. Patricia's not using her time very wisely. She's making this basket weave monstrosity that was hideous. Ugh, it's horrible. And Leanna, she's so disgusted that Richard doesn't know what he's doing, and he's so distraught that she has to go to the other team and talk to Stanley and get some advice from him about how to make the jacket. So it's before the runway day of, and it is one giant cluster. Ugh, especially for Slick and Hip. Pretty much for everybody, but more so for Slick and Hip. Things just aren't coming together. People are sewing major pieces right before the runway. So it's time for the runway, kids. Zach, Nina, and Emmy Rossum. Why did they get Emmy Rossum to judge this challenge? Usually they have somebody who is remotely connected to the challenge. Is she married to a stripper? Was she in Magic Mike? I don't know. What's the deal? Is she married to an Australian? I don't know. So it's a cluster. They really needed 2 days for this, and Heidi basically tells them that they all suck. Heidi, bad designers aren't born, they're made. When you give a designer not enough time to do something, it's not going to be good. And it's pretty evident that they needed more time because everyone sucked. I think it's your fault. Stop complaining, biche. Alright, so Team Slick and Hip are the losing team. And Richard made the worst shirts. They had almost Peter Pan collars. It was just ridiculous. They were not fitted to the neck at all. The pants were so tight, they couldn't move in them. They were coming off. One guy's was busted out of his pants, and Nina was just not acting very professionally at all. She needed about 5 minutes to contain herself. Really, Nina? I'm so embarrassed. So the shirts also were ridiculously long. They look like lab coats, for crying out loud. So 2 on the team thought that Richard should go home, and 2 thought Amanda should go home. But on the winning team, it wasn't really a win at all. It was a win by default, because they sucked too. Ugh. The clothes were ugly, but they were less ugly than the other team. They didn't tear away right during the runway show. One guy couldn't even get his pants off. You gotta get those pants off, otherwise what good is it? The ladies aren't gonna like it. So the vest that Michelle made was actually the best of the worst. Go figure. I thought it was pretty scary, but I don't know. The whole thing that bothered me was they were like, oh, we wanted this to be like a little fantasy kind of thing. But isn't it sexier when you don't know what's going on under a guy's clothes and he's got regular clothes on and then he tears them off and surprise? Rather than to know, that guy's a freak. He's going to take his clothes off. You know he's going to take them off. Alright, so for the first time in the history of Project Runway, there is no winner. Ouch. So, the bottom two, you knew it. It was Richard versus Amanda. And I am shocked that they sent Amanda home because Richard's shirts were really hideous. I mean, really hideous. There was nothing right with those shirts. At least Amanda had made, like, the pattern for the pants, and Samantha made a good pair of pants, well, better pair of pants, but she only had to make those pants. Amanda had to make 2 pairs of pants. Not enough. It all comes down to not enough time for me, so I'm really disgusted with this whole challenge for different reasons than Heidi is, but just as equally as disgusted. So next time, this is a good challenge next time. I hope they give them sufficient time. Ready to wear for Lord & Taylor, and they actually get to make some money off of it and get some recognition. So good luck, designers. Till next time, much love.